7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to the Morning Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandiman Bailey Lowery. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in, everybody, to a Tipsy Tuesday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery.
How's it going, Captain Cool?
Bandy, it is going wonderful. We have an amazing night full of sports, full of Tom going to Baumhauer's, full of the drive being out on location at Furniture Factory. First off, I want to talk about this Buckhorn game, though, that we get to go to, because we're going to go. The Buckhorn Bucks are going down against the Bob Jones Patriots at home on our station. Me and Bandiman will be on the call. We're very much excited about that. We're also very excited about all this other hullabaloo that's going on in college football, and the people that'll help us out today with all of that stuff is going to be a list of guys that really know what they're talking about. We're going to be talking with Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone, as well as one Mr. Cody Goodwin from Bama 247.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide indeed. And you know what, Bandy? I'm still seeing a lot of these people, questioning whether or not the committee did it right when it comes to putting Alabama in over a Florida State team that hasn't lost any of those games. And you know what? I can understand the whining, all right? I can understand it. We see it plenty of times on X, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. We saw it last year whenever Bama was able to beat Kansas State. They were number 5, and everybody questioned, why isn't this team in? Yeah. If you're playing up against an SEC team and you're, one of the top teams in the country, it's going to be a challenge, okay? Now, if you're an SEC team playing an LSU team like Alabama did last season, they lose by a few points, and then everybody goes crazy thinking, well, this Alabama team's not that good. They're still better than a majority of the teams around the country. That's just how it is. There was some crying. There was a lot of upset Alabama fans last year. We get a little bit of redemption this year, Bandy, and I gotta say, out of all of the problems that the college football world has, none of them is bigger than this one right here. The transfer portal. The day it opens, yesterday, to the day it ends. The first round of it. It ends before the football season ends. Bandy, I don't understand why this is the case, because now, if you're not going to the top 4 bowl games to make it to the top 3 or 2, to make it to the championship or the national championship, then there's no reason in even playing these games.
Yeah, we already got USC. We already got Caleb Williams sitting out his bowl game for the upcoming NFL draft. Mm-hmm. We got over 1,000 players already entered into the portal. Remember, just because you entered the portal doesn't mean you committed anywhere yet. That's just like, hey, I'm thinking about moving out.
I'm getting out. And one of those guys for Alabama, the first of Alabama players to get out, isn't really going to change anything with the football team, of course. It's Tyler Buckner. Yeah. He wants to go back to Notre Dame and play lacrosse. Turns out he was really good at lacrosse, okay? He was being recruited at, the 8th grade or something like that by Michigan, and that was pretty insane to even read. But, you look at these games that would be, some special matchups. Oregon State versus Notre Dame. You look at this one. What's going to happen? Oh, it should be a great matchup between a Western team and a Northeastern team. What do we get? Well, it's probably going to be Notre Dame coming out on top pretty handily, because you look over at this Oregon State team that had a lot of talent during the season. They're losing Jonathan Smith, DJ Ulalega, and the running back Damian Martinez, who, he's having his own thing. That's not because he's transferring. It's just because there's a lot of problems going on with his life. But we're not going to talk about that because it's personal. But, those matchups are just thrown out the window. What would have been a great matchup is now going to be just, a game that we might want to turn on if, it's the one that's still playing. It goes off to a lot of different games as well. Even Oklahoma versus Arizona. This game was about to be set up to be amazing. We got Noah Fafita, this new quarterback who's been doing plenty of things this season, has really surprised the college football world. And then we have an Oklahoma team with Dylan Gabriel, and he's on his way out, and he's gone. He's done. He's not playing in this game, meaning this game's not going to be as challenging as we thought it would be, and I honestly think Arizona's going to be able to take it. I would have said that Dylan Gabriel and Oklahoma were going to, have a really good matchup against this really good Western team, and it was going to come down to the wire. And now I just think that Noah Fafita in Arizona is just going to be able to mollywop them. I don't like where the college football world is when it comes to the transfer portal. It makes no sense. It is definitely the flimsiest of the things that this college football, the upper echelon should definitely fix. It's
flimsier than the playoff selection committee?
Flimsier than the playoff selection committee. But at least that's changing. We're going to get 12 teams next year.
I mean, imagine what. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what new problems could come from that. I mean, what are we gonna be talking about when we're? I mean, are we really gonna be arguing like who should be 13th?
No.
Or like who should be 12th?
Of course, everybody's gonna have something to complain about, and at that point, there's definitely going to be people saying, "Well, my Arizona team or my Colorado team." It should be in the playoffs because we have this amazing record and we're right on that line. It's like, it's going to be annoying, but you know what? 12 teams sounds a lot more appealing than just 4 teams. It just felt like a stand-in until the committee actually knew what they wanted to do, and the 12 teams seems just very nice for me and very nice for you and the rest of all the fans.
Yeah, 4 just felt weird overall, especially with they weren't following any kind of other established playoff format whatsoever. Like, hey, what we got going on in high school right now, like with the state championships, hey, be sure to tune in to Madison Academy.
Yes, sir.
But going up for the 3A state title. But the system they have in place, whereas this whole pretty much month-long event where it's just one game a week, this playoff format, this many teams, many teams, what is it, like 12 teams?
It's a lot of teams thrown in there.
Actually, no, it's more like 30-something.
I've never made it to I never made it to the playoffs in high school.
I didn't play high school football.
So I don't know how many rounds there are, but I know it goes on.
So you can take my opinion on this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But the system works.
Yeah, it's still the playoffs.
It is established.
It's not just 2 games where it's just thrown in. It
even works that way.
No.
In other lower levels of college football.
No, it does. I mean,
and the NFL does something unique, but they got wild cards, they got all this stuff over there. It's professional either way. College football, just 4 teams.
Yeah.
With how much variety there is in this sport just by nature.
Yeah.
Just seemed like a very weird decision to make from the start, and it's actually a miracle it's worked as well as it has, as well as it has.
Yeah. TCU.
Up until this point.
Yeah. I mean, and we look at it every single year, and we try and think of who that odd team out is. This year, you can't really look at that and say that there's one team that's going to be singled out. I think all of the competition that's in there right now is very nice. One thing I do have a question about, and we'll talk with Cody Goodwin, we'll talk with Joe Hunk about it, but is, if they're going to pick the best of the best teams, where's Georgia? Like, why isn't Georgia in there? You think that Georgia would
really think about that part.
Lose to a Washington team? You think that Georgia would lose to a Texas team? I mean, obviously there's always a chance, but I still think if they're going to pick the best of the best teams, you still got to put in, the best of the best teams. And I think Georgia is definitely one of those best teams. But hey, you know what? All that matters, Alabama's in. We'll be talking to Joe about some Auburn football. We'll be talking about some other Alabama football stories. And we'll also be talking about a little bit of this transfer portal that's going on. But Bandy, I want to have some fun here, okay? There was a game that got a trailer released, and I know you're pretty excited
we're talking about this?
We're talking about a little bit of gaming, because I know this just, it resonates with some of the fans out there because it's such a, historical gaming franchise. Grand Theft Auto 6's trailer was released, Bandy. It looks freaking amazing.
There's a little history behind it, too. I mean, and it's like, they're talking about the gaming again. Everyone under the sun, it's like Mario. Yeah. Everyone knows Mario. Yeah. Everyone knows about Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Whether you're supposed to play it or not.
Yeah, we're supposed to play it or not. A little history, though. It got leaked. The trailer itself got leaked early by someone online and a couple of other sources as well, too, like leaking early images and like developer images. Like one of them was the son of one of the developers. So, I mean, hey, praying for that guy's job. Whatever happens there. But it got leaked early, and Rockstar that kind of forced their hand, like, hey, let's just drop the full trailer now on YouTube. But it kind of makes me mad a little bit. I'm not a fan of these leaks, man. Like, just dropping this stuff early. They had this whole event planned out for this morning. I was looking forward to it as well. I got hit with the surprise of seeing it last night. I'm like, oh no, what happened?
Yeah,
I'm glad it's out, but what happened? Why are they releasing it early?
Yeah, I gotta admit, it looks fantastic for a game this big. The release, the implications to it all. I mean, it's gonna be one of the biggest game releases of our lifetime. It's bound to get a little bit of leaked, and this game has been leaked to all hell. But you know what? Either way, It's coming. I'm pretty happy for it. You're pretty happy for it. I'm definitely going to play it. You're definitely going to play it. And you know what? I could bet you this. Some of our listeners are going to play it too.
Yeah. Hey, it's already broken. It's broken a couple of records on YouTube already.
Jeez.
Like, it's about to break the view record for most views in 24 hours.
How many is it at?
I think it's at 70 million right
Jeez.
now. But the record is 101 million from a BTS music video.
Was it? Okay. Well, we got to single that down to video game release trailers.
But here's the thing. It's already broken that record.
Okay. Destroyed it.
This is for the overall, like, top of YouTube record ever.
Okay.
We will be seeing the biggest release in our lifetime because we have not had another Grand Theft Auto for almost 15 years.
Yeah, they re-released that game so many times too, so everybody's just kind of been teased all the way through. But we got a lot of stuff to get into, and outside of that, we will be talking to Joe Hunk as well as Cody Goodwin from Bama 24/7 to get all of the different sides of college football. We're going to push off the NFL until tomorrow. Of course, we'll have RJ White on to talk about all that good stuff. But, the injury last night for Trevor Lawrence, very terrible. You hate to see it. It wasn't, as gruesome as people say, but he did get stepped on. It looked really bad whenever he fell down because he just kind of folded like a lawn chair. But if you're losing or if you're tied in a close, high-scoring game with the Cincinnati Bengals led by Jake Browning, I mean, should you win this game? Probably not. You probably shouldn't, and obviously they did not. And it fall to 8-4 on the season as the Cincinnati Bengals moved to 6-6. You had one job, Jaguars. You had one job, and you just totally threw it out the window. Either way, we're going to hop into a break. When we come back, Mr. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone is going to be joining us here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowery of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. It'll be chilly through the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. Bundle up as you head out the door on Wednesday morning. We're going to start the day in the mid 30s. A mostly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. It is going to be much cooler Wednesday afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Instead of the upper 50s and lower 60s that we could see on Tuesday, dropping into the lower 30s through the overnight, early Thursday morning. A mostly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid 50s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Despite Auburn losing that New Mexico State game, they're still headed to a bowl game in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. They're going to be playing up against the Maryland Terrapins, and they got a good coach when it comes to these bowl games. Okay, a guy that is 6-1 when it comes down to it. He's done wonderful things with Ole Miss, with Liberty, and now he's moving on with Auburn, and I honestly am looking forward to our conversation with one Mr. Joe Hunk and how he feels about this Auburn squad, especially after that Iron Bowl, because I've heard he has a pretty interesting story to tell us here on the Morning Blitz. Joe, how you doing today, man?
I was doing great till I remembered that I told you that I was going to tell you about that.
Yeah,
I was doing really good.
I got a hold of that thing.
It's great, guys, because I don't know. Do you know a few people in your life that just get a little bit animated whenever their team is losing a football game or loses a football game?
I can name a few right off the bat, but I'm going to leave those names out of here. Joe, I need to hear about this because, I mean, the way you were making it sounded so entertaining, and now it sounds like it's a disaster story, but, it kind of is.
Well, again, so I went into that Iron Bowl game thinking I'm not even worried about it. Auburn's not going to win. I mean, Peyton Thorne's the quarterback. Mm-hmm. They're not going to complete more than 5 passes. I'm just not even going to get into it. And then the game continues to go on and go on. We get to the fourth quarter, and my wife and I are doing our meal prepping for the week. We're cooking all of our food, and everything's happening, and I'm like, Auburn goes ahead, and Auburn kicked this field goal to go up by this much, and my wife's like, I can't believe Alabama's going to lose. I'm like, no, they're going to win. They're going to win. Trust me, something's going to happen. They're going to win. And then Alabama it was going to be a 3-and-out, and my wife's like, I can't believe Alabama's going to punt this. Auburn's going to kill the clock. It's going to be over. I'm like, no. I mean, like, something's going to happen. Trust me, something's going to be happen. Then you have the fumbled punt. And as these things were going on, even though I was continuing to say it, I was still getting pissed off the entire time because it was actually happening. Like you don't have to cover the punt. Like, you just don't. Like, if you just let it go and let it roll around, it kills even more time. Like, it doesn't matter. And so, and then Alabama gets the ball back, and my wife's like, it's fourth and, and whatever. They're not going to make this. And I'm just like, somehow Alabama's going to do this. But then they end up doing it. The problem with all of this is we've got a little 8-month-old little girl, and she's in this stage where she just doesn't want to be put down. She just wants to be held the whole time.
Okay.
And so my wife and I are handing her back and forth as the game is going along, and I would cook some food, and then she would cook some food. Well, towards the very end of that ball game, it was my wife's turn to cook some food, and I'm holding our baby girl as that entire series of plays took place. And as it was going down, and as Alabama was 4th and 31, and I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I said, okay, Auburn, all you got to do is just knock this down. You're fine. The touchdown happens, and my wife can instantly see my face just go blood red. Aww. And I look at my wife, and I go, take the baby. Take the baby. And she goes, nope, not taking the baby. To take the baby right now. She goes, nope. Not taking the baby because you can't do anything, and you can't get mad, and you can't throw anything, and you can't punch a wall, and you can't do any of this while you're holding that baby. I said, take the baby. She goes, no. You know why? Because this isn't my first Auburn football game where they've blown the lead, and this isn't my first Iron Bowl where Auburn's blown the lead. I know exactly what's going to happen if you put that baby down, so nope, not putting the baby down.
Yeah, I can totally understand
that. She made me hold the baby.
She made you hold the baby, and honestly...
she made me hold the baby.
The worst things were flying through my head. I mean, if I had something in my hands, and I don't want to say I'd throw a child, but I mean, if it ever came down to my team getting beaten like that in the Iron Bowl as Auburn did... I'd want to throw something. I will say that.
She made me hold the baby.
Golly,
she would not let me put the baby down.
Definitely an insane game, and one to remember, of course. Hugh Freeze, obviously, in his first matchup against the Crimson Tide, at least as a Auburn coach. But looking forward with this Auburn team, I mean, you see how close they play up against this good competition. Now they're going to be in the Music City Bowl, and they're going up against the Maryland team, against the quarterback that they've never had to face off against before. Obviously, Hugh Freeze maybe has – well, no, actually, Hugh Freeze was gone before. Big Tua was there. But kind of just talk about how this Auburn team matches up against Maryland.
Oh my God! Is Peyton Thorne still the quarterback?
Yeah.
Is he still the quarterback?
He's not transferring, which would be the biggest problem I would have.
Well, I mean, that would actually be the best thing that could possibly happen. Is he transferring? All these quarterbacks and all these people want to transfer, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, and look, the Music City Bowl. The problem with trying to preview any football game, and I'm only saying this because you guys were talking about it a second ago. Guys, we don't even know who's going to be in this game.
Exactly.
Like, we just don't.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams has already said that he's not going to be playing in a bowl game for USC. Like, all this crap is going down. These bowl games are so insignificant. And I hate that for Nashville just because – we had, on 3HL yesterday, we had the person that is over, Scott Ramsey, who's over the Nashville Sports Committee and our council, and he was talking about all the good things that's happening with this. And, this is the first year that the Music City Bowl is going to be playing on the brand-new surface at Nissan Stadium. And what was really interesting about last year that he told us about was, last year when it was Kentucky and Iowa, which, insert your Iowa jokes here. Sorry about that, Scott. But, you insert your Iowa jokes, and it was Iowa and Kentucky, all these players had opted out of the game. And Scott even told us, he said, look, with the way the playing surface was at Nissan Stadium for that Music City Bowl, he's like, there was actually a chance that bowl game was not going to be happening because of the possibility of it having to be postponed. And we was kind of curious about those comments. And he said, look, with Nissan Stadium having the natural surface that it did, which we all love natural surfaces, people forget that the Titans and Cowboys actually played on Thursday night before the Music City Bowl. And so the Music City Bowl was happening on a Saturday. And he said, there was actually threat of thunderstorms on Friday before that game that was supposed to happen on Saturday. And if those storms would have happened because of the NFL game happening on Thursday, because of the storms and the fact that the field hadn't had the opportunity to kind of repair itself through being all the stuff that needs to happen, the playing surface may not have even been playable.
No.
And so there's something like that you just really don't think about that's actually going to be a benefit to this Music City Bowl coming into here. And it's cool that Auburn's going to be at least close by for North Alabama fans to be able to go up to Nashville. Tickets are going to be extremely inexpensive. I know you guys have been giving tickets away for it, and I think that's the cool thing about it. But the sad thing is that these bowl games are insignificant outside of the three games that actually matter, which are the semifinals and the College Football Playoff National Championship.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone on with us talking about Auburn and these bowl games, and I do want to talk about the Cheez-It Bowl before we get you out of here. But I mean, kind of talk about the transfer portal and how it's really just placed into the college football season at an awkward spot. I mean, just talk about how, how can they fix this? How can the NCAA fix this, maybe push it back? Like, what do they need to do to fix this to make these bowl games relevant again?
Well, I mean, they need to do the same thing that they need to do with National Signing Day. They need to get it out of December. And, it was a great idea at the time of, an early National Signing Day where you don't have to go through all this crap through January and February. But the problem with this is guys, between vacations and between Christmas and between everything else, National Signing Day now is, I believe this year, it's December 20th through the 22nd.
Sheesh.
And one, we can't actually focus on it. Like, nobody can. Like, and two, it's nothing that we get as excited about as we did with National Signing Day as it did when it was the first Wednesday in February. And I think that's one of the bigger problems with this is that you've taken something away that you've done the opposite of what the NFL has done, where the NFL tries to make it where every single month matters. You've taken away a month, which is the month of February, that absolutely could matter for you in the college football world. And I think both the transfer portal as well as National Signing Day both need to be after the semester ends and into the next semester. So I think that those are two things that they need to do. Is they need to take away the early signing period, make it for February, so that we don't have to deal with this in the middle of bowl season. Like I've worked in Montgomery for a period of time, and in Montgomery they were having the Camellia Bowl. And they had National Signing Day the day before the Camellia Bowl actually happened. And so what happened is these teams were at their hotels, and they had to set up basically a war room. And they were having to do all of this stuff with National Signing Day from the hotel, do that, and then go into bowl prep literally the very next hour after this was going. They were having to split coaching staffs and the focus and all this. It's just a big problem for a lot of teams. And I think that's another issue with it is you have got to move this out of the bowl season where you're doing your coaching staffs an injustice not being able to focus on that, even though these coaching staffs can now have 20 to 30 people on them.
Yeah, I totally agree on all of that, honestly. And to have it end a day after January 1st, which is the first round of the CFP semifinal Rose Bowl game, as well as the Sugar Bowl, I mean, it just seems like, it's trying to get everybody out as soon as possible, and I just don't think that is the right course of action to go. But now moving over to this Cheez-Its Bowl, Iowa versus Tennessee. What do you like from Iowa? What do you like from Tennessee? And, again, this is going to be an early prediction, Joe. We'll get yours throughout the rest of this month. But, I mean, what do you think Tennessee's got over this Iowa team?
All right, so the ability to get into the end zone more than once is one of those things. That's, again, sorry, Scott.
Unless they're playing Mizzou. You can't
No. Unless it's that. But here's what I'm going to do, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to call an audible on your question. Okay. Because there's something you hit on in that first segment that was talked about, and you were talking about how you talking about the college football playoff, and there's an amazing article by Heather Dinich. I know a lot of people don't like her, and I understand, but she did a fantastic article about she talked with members of the playoff committee, and they hey, what the heck happened in the room? Okay, everybody's asking this question with this is, why did Alabama get in over Florida State? All this stuff you were literally just talking about in the very first segment, and the whole answer boils down to this. The one thing, as many things as the committee did not want to we'll say they wanted to say, okay, cool, we know there's no precedent for leaving an undefeated Power 5 team out, but this may be the first season. The one thing they wanted to make sure of is that they upheld the fact that Texas beat Alabama at the beginning of the season. And as many times as we've heard, and obviously we even know Alabama's not the same team as what they are now. The interesting thing is there were committee members that said if Alabama got in, they had to put Texas in front of them. And so the reason why Georgia and Florida State were left out was because Alabama beat Georgia in the SEC championship, and in doing so, the committee said we cannot put Alabama in without putting Texas in.
No. Okay.
And so that's the reason why that happened. So I heard you talking about it, and I was like, I read this thing last night, and I thought it was extremely interesting that the committee said, you know what, the most important thing we wanted to remember was that Texas won the head-to-head.
Yeah.
And so, that was something about that. And I know you were asking about the Cheez-It Bowl, but I was like, you know what, he answered this, and a lot of times we don't have as much time as we normally do. And I just wanted to make sure that we got that in is the fact that, the committee basically said that if Georgia would have beat Alabama, both Georgia and Florida State would have been in. But because Georgia didn't beat Alabama and the committee felt that Alabama was a team that deserved to be in the 14 playoff, they then also had to eliminate Florida State because they said if Alabama had to be in, Texas had to be in, and Texas had to be in front of Alabama.
Good stuff, Joe. I appreciate you putting that into a clearer light for us to see. But let the people know where they can find you on social media and online.
At Joe Hunk, we're going to get destroyed by the Miami Dolphins on tomorrow night for the Gamer Zone. It's not going to be pretty. I don't care how many settings I change. It's just not going to be pretty. With that, also, before I came on, I was asked about the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer and how many times I've actually watched it. I will tell you that those trailers been out for about a good 12, 13 hours.
Yeah.
I have not watched it, and I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
I'm not going to watch it. I hate movie trailers. I hate video game trailers. I hate all of it because I just want to sit back and enjoy it. If it's something that I'm not sure about, I'll watch a trailer. But any Marvel movie, any Ghostbusters movie, Ninja Turtles movie, any of this stuff that I just automatically know that I'm going to go see, not going to watch a trailer. And any game I know I'm going to play, not going to watch the trailer. Yeah. I know I'm going to get Grand Theft Auto 6. By that time, my son probably will know what a hooker is, so I can explain it to him. So, it's that sort of stuff. It's going to be 2025 before that happens.
Yes,
so
sir.
I've got about 2 more years to avoid this trailer.
Very much so. I mean, that's kind of just how you've done it. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities to learn what a lady of the night is, I would say, in that game.
Especially on that game.
Sheesh, Miami,
Especially
baby.
on that game.
Miami. Either way. Good.
Find an alley, man. Just find an alley.
Good stuff, Joe. Can't wait to talk with you next week, man.
All right, y'all have a great one.
You too. Love you. Bye. He didn't say it this time. Either way, we got to hop into a break. Good stuff from Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone. When we come back, Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 is going to be on the airways with us here on the Morning Blitz.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. Score big with one of our premium Angus beef burgers for half price. Our zone deal this week gets you $50 worth of delicious award-winning burgers for just $25. Log on 977ESPN.com beginning Friday morning and get your Bad Daddy's zone deal before they're gone. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway, Huntsville, and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody. John Abraham, Cam Cool alongside.
Who with it now?
The Bandiman, Bailey Lowery. Oh, I love that one. It's really nice. We've had a lot of fun on today's episode, honestly. It's always great to talk with Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone. It's always nice to see his perspective, especially because he is an Auburn fan at heart. So whenever, Auburn loses, and we got to talk about it, and it's always interesting. But now Auburn, looking a little bit better going into their matchup, even though we don't know who's going to be playing in it because of this whole transfer portal hullabaloo. But a guy that'll help us out with a little bit of information on Alabama's situation, as well as wrap wrapping up the SEC championship. What a great performance that was, on top of the rest of the competition going into the CFP. It's one Mr. Cody Goodwin from Bama 247. Cody, talked with you last week. How you doing this week, man?
Oh, man, my head's spinning with all this portal nonsense, but still kind of coming to grips with the fact that we'll be going to California to celebrate New Year's, man. Alabama got the job done and got the fortuitous call from the committee to be the 4 seed in the playoffs. So things are moving forward.
Oh, they definitely are, and in great fashion, honestly. Last week we were kind of talking, and we didn't know what was going to come going into next week. Even if Alabama won, we didn't know what was going to happen with the rest of the teams going in. And, well, it all fell into place perfectly, at least for us Alabama fans, Florida State fans kind of sitting on the side, wishing they were in. But there are plenty of reasons why they're not. But kind of just wrap up this SEC championship, because at the end of the day, it kind of just felt like that national championship. But two of the best teams kind of going at it. Kind of just tell us what you liked about it and what Alabama needs to improve on moving forward.
Man, there was a lot to like about this game. It definitely had a national quarterfinal or playoff feel to it, right? I think you could kind of tell that this was the one game that Georgia could not lose if they wanted to keep going, and this was obviously a game Alabama needed to have, if they wanted to position themselves to keep going. And it was, the defense. I thought Alabama's defense, they got carved up on that first drive, but after that they settled in and really made some good adjustments and played really, really well. I mean, really good man coverage out of the secondary. They were able to pressure Carson Beck in a way that he hadn't really been pressured all season. They stopped the run. They limited Brock Bowers. I know he was hurt dealing with an injury, so it wasn't, the full 100% Brock Bowers that Georgia was hoping that they would probably get. But Alabama, they gave up that touchdown drive, eight plays, 83 yards on that very first possession. Georgia's next 26 plays, I think they mustered 75 total yards. Wow. I mean, Alabama just absolutely put the clamps on them. Georgia scored a touchdown the first drive. They were held without points on 7 of their next 8 drives. And that kind of allowed the offense time to get going, right? Back-to-back 3-and-outs, 6 plays, 4 yards in the first 2 possessions. And then Alabama took off. Why'd they take off? Because Jalen Milroe was running the ball. And that when he does that, and he does that effectively, the rest of the offense opens up, right? I mean, 3 consecutive scoring drives. They're up 17-7 at half. Alabama won the turnover battle, right? Very timely fumble recovery by Tresman Marshall, a former Georgia player. That was probably really nice for him. Set up a field goal, which, ultimately was the deciding margin of victory, right? 3 points. And then the one thing that really impressed me about the offense was just not only that they were able to figure some things out and get going, but after Georgia had clawed back to within 20-17, Alabama, it was kind of a gotta-have-it drive, right? The offense had stalled a little bit in the second half, and they marched right down the field, 9 plays, 75 yards, scored a touchdown to go back up 10. Georgia comes back again. What does the offense need to do? Move the chains a couple times. Jalen Milroe takes off running again, 30 yards, and that kind of allowed them to run the clock down. So really kind of a lesson in perseverance from Alabama. I obviously wouldn't like to see them start as slow as they did, but I think that this team's got a little something different about them. They got some championship metal in them. They're very poised. They're very resilient, and they've shown that all season. And those were traits that really they've had to have the last 2 weeks, but especially against a very, very good Georgia team in Atlanta.
Cody Goodwin with us from Bama 247 and CBS Sports. And one thing I've seen kind of the Michigan bragging about has been really their secondary and how our quarterback can't throw. I saw that Dave Portnoy video, but
that got me.
Our quarterback can't throw. We're more physical, but I see Alabama more beating this team on the ground more than anything. Is that kind of the feeling you're getting too, or is there something different?
You're talking about the kind of an early look at what Alabama's going to have against Michigan?
Right.
At least in the ground game, outside of, obviously, Jalen Milroe. And also, this is also with Jace McClellan as well. Kind of throw that in there, his status going into next month.
Yeah, Jace obviously didn't play, but, just kind of dealing with an ankle injury. It doesn't sound like he practiced really at all last week leading up to the SEC championship game. He dressed out. He was catching, some kick and punt returns, but he didn't go through hardly any of the running back drills. So he's going to have some time to get healthy, right? They don't play until New Year's Day, so that's something we'll obviously keep tabs on over the next month. So I'm banking that he'll be healthy enough to play by then. But, with regards to Michigan, this is a very, very good defensive team, kind of a traditional Big Ten powerhouse. No offense to the Big Ten Conference. I'm not sure that they have played a team that has the kind of athletes that Alabama has. Just kind of an early scouting report. We'll dig into it probably over the next month to get a little bit more in-depth into it. But, Michigan really tough team defensively. They stop the run. They do have a good secondary. But I would argue that, the two most talented teams they played this year, probably Penn State, and Ohio State, obviously, very talented roster there in Columbus. I'm not sure that, the certain positions where Alabama has some star playmakers, I'm not sure that Michigan has seen a team quite like that. And you mentioned Jalen Milroe. The offense opens up quite a bit when he runs the ball and he is, humming offensively. And, he was obviously a huge part of why Alabama's offense took off in the second half of the season. He was big in games against Auburn and Georgia, right? But, I would argue that even the Georgia game and especially the Auburn game, not really his best offensive performances, and they were still able to very effectively move the ball against a very, very good Georgia defense. Michigan's going to have their hands full, man. Milroe's a guy that, when he's able to get on the run, it opens up everything else for the offense. Isaiah Bond has really come into his own as a superstar receiver, kind of 1B behind Jermaine Burton, right? Mm-hmm. You always got to account for Amari Niblack. You have to account for the stable of running backs. It's going to be a tall task for this Michigan defense, and then I think honestly the thing that maybe people aren't talking enough about is on the other side of the ball. Alabama's defense has been very, very good at stopping the run, right? We saw that this weekend against Georgia. They've routinely put good behavior on tape against the SEC's top rushers. That's what Michigan does offensively, and they are going to have a hard time if they're going to have to rely on their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who's good, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to ask him to win the game for you against Alabama's secondary and the defense as a whole and the pass rush with Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell bearing down on you, that's a very, very tough task, and that's just something that this Michigan team's probably going to have to earn. So, early scouting report, I like Alabama, but, we'll obviously dig into it a little bit more when as we get closer to the game.
For sure about that, and Cody, you made a point right there. J.J. McCarthy, very good quarterback. Can't take anything away from him, but I don't think he has played a defense this good up until, obviously, next month, the start of next month. But kind of scoping out the rest of the competition, I think that the committee did make the right decision with the teams that they put in. Questioning Georgia's whole thing, getting kind of sliced out of the equation, but you know what? It's totally fine. Kind of looking at Michigan, though, Texas and Washington, the other two teams that will be facing up against each other on January 1st. How do you feel about those teams as well?
Man, I think that one could be a track meet. You've got, probably the two teams that have, excellent receiving cores. Mm-hmm. Both of them have very good quarterbacks, right? Michael Penix is a finalist for the Heisman. Quinn Ewers has had very, very good moments, kind of up and down a little bit, but I think he showed in that Alabama game, I know that was all the way back in week 2, that, when he's humming and he's hitting the deep ball, this is a very, very dangerous Texas offense, right? And then you got Sark calling plays. That game has, the Alabama-Michigan probably has smash mouth, run the football type vibes to it. This game's going to be a track meet. This has like 45-40 written all over it down there at the Sugar Bowl. I think that's going to be a fantastic game, and it'll be kind of fun to see the dynamic between the two games take place, one right after the other on New Year's Day. That game, I think, is going to be all sorts of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of thought the exact same thing. I was a little sad that the Pac-12 championship was the final Pac-12 game we've got. But, this one's not going to be much different from any of the other Pac-12 games we've seen all season. Of course, Pac-12 going up against the ACC. Both of these teams have very electric offenses. A lot to look at with these two matchups, and a lot we will be talking about throughout this month. But, Cody, good stuff from you. It's always nice to have you on the show. Let the people know where they can find you on socials and online.
Yeah, man, I'm just on Twitter at Cody Goodwin, and then all our work is at Bama 247, part of the 247 Sports Network. We got a transfer palooza running all week, where a lot of our insiders are keeping tabs on all the transfer portal happenings, and we're going to have some stories at Bama 247 related to kind of guys that we think Alabama should target in the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So college football never sleeps, man. We got a lot of stuff that we can fill in between now and the Rose Bowl on January 1st. So come join us at Bama 247 and enjoy all the fun with us.
That's what I love to hear, Cody. Can't wait to talk with you again. You have yourself a good rest of the week, brother.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 as well as CBS Sports. And I'm glad that he brings up that Texas-Washington matchup, but we will hit a break because, the Pac-12 isn't truly dead until all the Pac-12 teams are out. And there's kind of just a thing that follows Pac-12 teams that it's going to be a high-scoring game every single time they go up against the competition that is up to snuff, I would say, to that said team, which is going to be Texas versus Washington. Very high-scoring game. That's what I predict,
Yep.
Bandy.
I'm gonna be interested to see because, Quinn Ewers has been able to just kind of cut through defenses through the air. And that Washington secondary was very stout, at least for that first half of that Oregon game. They can kind of fix those mistakes, try to allow Oregon to really kind of get a leg up on them, almost coming back entirely.
Yeah.
And the Pac-12 championship kind of fix that and be able to play that full four quarters against Texas. That could actually be closer than we think.
Yeah, and don't overhype this Texas team just because they were able to absolutely decimate Oklahoma State. That is the 120th ranked defense in all of college football, so just check yourself before you place that bet. But we got to hop into a break. When we come back, we're going to finish out the show with some Sagi talk as well as a little bit of more predictions and possibly some transfer portal news. That's what's coming up here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone sports bar.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
The representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. It'll be chilly through the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. Bundle up as you head out the door on Wednesday morning. We're going to start the day in the mid 30s. A mostly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. It is going to be much cooler Wednesday afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Instead of the upper 50s and lower 60s that we could see on Tuesday, dropping into the lower 30s through the overnight, early Thursday morning. A mostly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid 50s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got it locked on your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Nick Saban Show. This is Eli Gold, and this is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello, welcome back to the Morning Blitz. John Abraham, Captain Cool alongside, and we'll remind you that this show has been presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online and fill out your free quote today. You can find them at FlemingHSV.com. And remember that Fleming always shows up. Now, you can't. There's not a lot of time to get in, but 256-576-4
97.7
is the number to hop on in. And I gotta say, Bandy, I'm a fan of the transfer portal. I'm a fan of guys being able to move around and get opportunities where they might not be able to get opportunities. Where like Sam Buckner, he's moving on, he's going to play lacrosse. I mean, that just shows you
Tyler Buckner.
Or sorry, Sam Buckner. Tyler Buckner, he's moving on.
I was thinking of Sam Bradford, honestly.
It really shows Sam Bradford. That's going back. But it really shows you, first off, Nick Saban, hardcore coach. He's going to get you all the way. Like, he's going to tell you, this is what you got to live. You got to breathe the football and all that stuff. And obviously, Tyler Buckner moving on to lacrosse back in Notre Dame. I mean, it just shows you.
If you want to be here, you got to live and breathe football.
I mean, we knew he probably
try lacrosse.
He did a little bit for Alabama. He played one game, and that was obviously week 3 against was it South Florida, and I mean it just wasn't really a good match for him. But I mean, you can't always succeed whenever you're going to these big places, and he thought he could maybe find an opening. That just did not happen. What I'm not a fan of is the portal window to get in. And, I wish it wasn't starting during the season and ending still during the season. I wish that it was able to at least go past the season so some of these players can move on to teams after their bowl games. And I think that would be great. But it's whoever jumps on it first who will get the best opportunity of going to whichever team they want to go to, especially if one of their coaches is moving to said team. I can understand it. Just push it all back. Just push it all back and let everything else work out the way it needs to. I think that's the biggest problem that college football is facing right now. Bandy, who do we got on the Flow Hotline?
We got Corey on the Flow Hotline. What's going on, Corey?
Not so much, man. What's going on?
We're doing wonderful, man. Just enjoying a good talk of football.
Nice, yeah, exactly. That's great. Hey, so I'm a big Michigan fan. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, though, so
yes, sir.
I see, a lot of Alabama, but I just feel like this is going to be a great matchup. If you take kind of the history out of it of just Alabama being dominant, I feel like it's going to be a really good matchup, and should be a good game to watch for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and obviously a lot of drama going around this whole Michigan team. You can kind of push it to the side because the NCAA is not going to do anything about it right now. But what Michigan's doing is still very impressive. Obviously, they played 6 games without their head coach. They've still found ways to win in very amazing fashion. And also, I mean, they've proven the haters wrong by beating teams like Ohio State, beating teams like Penn State, and moving on and obviously having an easy time against an Iowa team that ranked probably 4th in the Big Ten. But,
They have a defense that's stout.
Now they're going up against an Alabama team, and I finally think this is going to be the challenge that Michigan's been waiting for, at least. Obviously, the gasps at the conference that they had whenever the teams were announced, it shows you that obviously they want Florida State, but Alabama is going to be that competition that if they beat Alabama, they will be proven as the best team in all of college football, no doubt about it.
I definitely agree with everything you just said. I think the reaction to hearing we were going to play Alabama was more of a, unfortunate because we wanted Florida State.
Of course.
Easy cupcake. That's not how you play football. I think we're better than that. So I think once it actually sets in, it's going to be a great game. And I definitely agree with everything you said. So
good stuff.
Appreciate y'all. I think call in, and y'all have a good day.
Hey, anytime. Thank you, Corey.
Well, it's been a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And you know what? Wednesday's going to be even wonderfuler. Is that a word? Check it. No, you know what? Don't worry about it. The show's already over. Either way, for me, John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery, we will take a 22-hour break, and we will be back in these same spots tomorrow. Make sure you guys turn into that Buckhorn basketball game later tonight. See ya!
I am obsessed with Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday sale because I can find up to 40% off my beauty favorites each week. Shop deals like Tarte Shape Tape Concealer at 30% off. I'll also be gifting myself. And $15 cleansers from brands like Tula and Philosophy. Plus, up to 40% off select hair tools like the Revlon One Step Blow Dryer. Find the gifts that bring joy to everyone on